What's up, everybody? Welcome to the EW Podcast.
EW Podcast, EW Podcast. I hope you brought enough cash to shop. EW Podcast, EW Podcast. I hope you know we talking about a watch.
This is our first inaugural podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Fred Brown,
Sir.
one of the longest lasting sales reps at Essential Watches. And I got producer Steven to my right. He's new to the crew, but definitely an integral part of our team. We are going to bring you guys everything you want to know about from the watch world. We're going to be talking about all the ins and outs of the latest releases from all the factories. We're going to be talking about all this latest pricing on the secondary market. We're going to be talking about other YouTubers, social media influencers in the watch world. Everything you want to know about watches, we're going to bring it to you right here. We're in Beverly Hills right now in our Essential Watches boutique in Beverly Hills. This is the William Morris Endeavor building in the heart of Beverly Hills. This is where all the biggest Hollywood producers and agents have their offices. These are my clients. These are the guys that we buy and sell with. And we'd like to now bring you the incredible podcast. Fred, welcome. Welcome to the team. So Fred and I have an interesting relationship because we've known each other for a good almost 30 years. We were in a different business together before watches, but in 2007, I brought you on board as our first employee for Essential Watches. Do you remember that day?
I do remember that day. I remember that day. That morning you called me. I was on my way to medical school. Seth was like, hold on. I got a really good idea. I'm like, okay, here we go again.
All right. So I taught you out of going down the medical route, and I brought you into the world of watches.
Right. So I'm like the watch doctor.
All right. So how much did you know about watches when we first brought you on board?
I knew nothing about watches actually when I first started Essential Watches.
Yeah,
not a thing.
Yeah, and now you know a ton of watches, way more than I know.
Yes.
Steven, we just met maybe about 2-3 months ago when we started planning out this podcast. But you are actually an experienced watch dealer on your own right. Tell us about yourself.
Some of the stuff I'm working with, we do have a little bit of overlap. A lot of the work I started out work on forums. I started out on Reddit, tons on Instagram, but a lot of the stuff I do locally is in Long Beach, California. I do sell out of all places a clothing boutique called Butterscotch in downtown Long Beach, where we do focus on a lot of neo-vintage and vintage Rolex stuff. So that's a little bit of my route. And
okay, I like that. So where your specialty is more of the vintage and neo-vintage, and I think also the lower end brands, some very cool Seikos and this sort of item. Essential Watches is more on the higher end scale.
Correct. Yeah. You guys don't really cover micro brands and stuff like that. You guys are looking at Patek, AP, Cartier, hot horology pieces, where I'm looking at more of the enthusiast realm.
Gotcha. Well, I've seen your Instagram. It's a very cool Instagram, by the way. We're definitely going to be tagging you in the comments down below, so everyone should check out your Instagram. Well, it's been a whole bunch of different people.
Oh, yeah. Who's this?
He showed up.
Who is that?
I can't believe it.
I know that voice. I can't see from around the corner.
Hang on. You said there was a chance you were coming today. You didn't say for sure.
Producer Michael, what's up?
You never said you're really going to show up.
Hello.
Nobody would be allowed to come. What's up, Adam?
What's going on?
Nobody would be allowed to barge in the middle of our podcast besides producer Michael. He'd probably be the only guy.
I've produced movies with less cameras. Oh my God.
Well, our view's about to go up now.
What are you doing? Hello.
Oh, Mike, this is our first podcast. Do you want to be our first guest? Seriously, let's put a chair right here. All right, so let's do it. Let's do a quick cut, and then let's get him set up. What do you say? Unexpected for our podcast, obviously. We
Downright illegal, if I may say so. How I got roped into this.
So I sort of finagled this. Nobody knows this, but I knew we were shooting a podcast today. I invited Michael to come. It was 50.
No, wait,
50.
Stop.
If he was going to show up.
Stop.
He showed.
Well, shut him up a second. There was no mention of a podcast to be.
No, I knew. I
did or not.
I know.
I wouldn't have come.
You all listen. I knew as well.
Did? You knew I was going to be stuck in this chair. Lovely.
So that was basically what I was hoping would happen happened. I am so glad that this came to fruition. Guys, welcome to our podcast.
Well, thank you
very much.
But
Yeah.
do you have a bag of avocados for
Yes,
Payment.
I do, actually.
You do?
Yes.
Then all is good.
We have to go and pick them, but yes, I have a
He has the
avocado.
best avocados. Forget the
I
watches.
appreciate it.
The avocados are wonderful.
All right. So, a lot of people, they know me because I started Essential Watches back in the early 2000s, but actually the other 99% of the people know me because I've appeared on your guys' YouTube channel. So that being said, Adam, Michael, thank you very much for ending up here. I know you didn't mean to end up here, but this is amazing. But if I have this opportunity as the host of this podcast, with Fred as my co-host, maybe I can take this opportunity to ask you a couple questions.
I think before you do, you have to have another drink.
Okay.
Need to loosen up.
All right. Why not? I should definitely loosen up and have another drink.
It'll be fun.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. I'll pretend.
So,
Ronnie?
Chop it up. You want chop it up?
okay. So let's just get into it like this. So
Kosher.
this is actually kosher.
Kosher whiskey, there's such a thing?
Yes, it is.
What did they do? Like do a special... No, I won't go there.
They strained it.
Oh my God, this is too funny. Okay, so I appeared on your YouTube channel in 2016. At that time, you already had 1 million followers. Let's back it up a little bit. Guys, when did you start? What year was it? How did you start? Like, let's hear it from you guys.
So it was 2017. We were in Pebble Beach at the Concours d'Elegance. Adam and I had become friends the year before, right?
Yes, it was probably 18 months into me being over here.
Right.
Yeah.
So Adam came up with his brainwave and said, we should shoot a YouTube video and have a YouTube channel. And I said...
But I'm sorry, how did you guys even know each other?
So I met Michael when I was out here for a summer, basically trying to figure out, I was living in England, if you can't tell by my accent, and I was trying to figure out, should I move to California, right? So I came out for the summer, was living large, was hanging out with a bunch of the supercar people, and I went on a drive. And I was taking pictures. I'm a photographer by trade, before we started doing this. So I'm taking pictures of the cars, and there's this wacky guy with a Lamborghini with it's yellow and red and black, and it's got Italian flag calipers, and the guy's got pink in his hair, and he's wearing makeup.
Stop that makeup.
That's what I told you. I told you stop with the makeup, but you didn't listen. So we go and take some pictures, and I'm like,
my friend. I mean... Come on.
So I'm taking pictures, and then Michael comes up, hello. And I'm like, hello. And I'm trying to take pictures, and he's talking to me, and I'm thinking, can I just take some pictures before you come to my ear?
I was thinking, what a nice guy came up to say hi to me.
Right.
We did sit opposite at breakfast, and you were a nice guy. Well, to be fair, yeah. But I was trying to take pictures, and anyway, long story short, we got talking. He asked what I was doing here. I explained, and he said, well, why don't you come by my office and, let me see if I can help you with anything. So I go by his office. I show him my photography work. He's like, well, did you know that I represent artists? And I said, I didn't know that. And he said, well, would you like me to represent you for your photography work? And I said, I would like that very much. So Michael then became my, what's the correct word? No, manager. You have to be careful with the word.
Is that 10 or 15%?
30.
And it's actually 20.
I was going to say, more than that.
30.
So that's how we met. Was I moved out here, and Michael was my representative for my photography work, which was great because it meant that I could deal with the creative. Michael dealt with all the business. So that's how we met. And then we just became fast friends. The cars, obviously, a lot of interest there. I had no knowledge of any of this stuff. I didn't know. Well, you know that. I didn't know a watch from
Almost nothing.
Yeah, from a clothesline. And so
in Florida, you're driving Lamborghinis, but in Beverly Hills, you're in your Ferrari.
No, this was in Beverly Hills with a Lambo.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You had an Aston as well. You had that white Aston
And a red Ferrari.
and a red Ferrari.
Yeah.
You had tons then, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
What's the whip today?
Today, I'm in my G-Wagon today.
Yeah.
But I do have some fun toys.
Range? Don't you have a Range Rover?
I do.
How many miles are on it? Tell them.
350.
How long have you had it? How long have you had
A
it?
year. I was the first person to take delivery of the new style autobiography And I've had Ian. It's done.
Okay, so fast forwarding a little bit, you guys somehow you talked him into having a social media presence.
No, so you already had a big Instagram, didn't you?
Wasn't huge.
Well, it was 100K.
Yeah.
Like you were.
Oh, yeah, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a bit more than that.
Yeah.
a couple hundred.
For doing what?
Supercars. I was posting pictures of my cars.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the only thing.
All right. No, but your personality wasn't coming out. It was just like your.
Oh, well, it was coming out in my cars because some of my cars were really radical.
Okay. And then
Really radical.
And then wait, Adam, you encouraged him.
So I was doing some YouTube stuff with some friends. I had sort of understood the business of YouTube and really could see how you can make it a full-time occupation.
Okay.
And obviously with my media background, you know, as a director, as a photographer, like I had all of the skills in order to create a channel, to do all of the business side of it. And then Michael had all of this access to Hollywood and all of his connections and, you know, his cars and the watches and just as an as an on-camera presence, like amazing. And so I was like, why don't we combine forces and create a YouTube channel? And what did you say?
Michael was, who the hell's going to want to see me, right? You know, it's not like I'm 16 jumping on trampolines.
So
Right.
So there had to be one video that kind of like went viral, right? Something like elevated you guys.
Yeah.
What was it?
Well, even the first one, I think we had said if it gets 1,000 views, we'll do a second one.
Yeah.
And I think it had like 50,000.
Yeah. It blew up.
Yeah.
Like,
So I was kind of locked
I think-
into doing it.
didn't we do like 8,000 in the first day? And we were both looked at each other like,
Oh, dear.
what did we do?
Yeah, right?
What was the first video? Do you remember?
It was a supercar drive with friends.
Yeah, and then I think the second one was I bought or tried to buy some luggage for my Rolls.
Okay, so you went cars, luggage. When did you guys actually move into watches?
I think that might have been in the luggage one because I was wearing a nice watch and we talked about it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't
Yeah.
remember our first dedicated watch video.
I don't think we ever did a dedicated one. They just kind of evolved.
Because even though you guys touch on all things luxury, I think people have realized like what you're most famous for these days are the watches and your knowledge of watches, no?
It's 30 years in production career doing all sorts of TV shows and music, and nobody knows. They just know me for wearing crazy watches.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I mean, obviously that's how we met, Michael.
Indeed. How long have I... Well, we
met in 2002
How do you know that?
because I remember I was working at a store
Oh yeah.
before I had my own business across the street, and you walked in, and the owner of the business told me behind the closer, "Oh, this guy, he's a."
What is it?
he said? What is this?
One thing inside baseball.
Well, I think more or less he said you were kind of like a know-it-all, pain in the ass kind of guy.
I don't.
But I said no. I said this is a major customer that we need to like groom him and bring him into our company. And so I actually was the one that was like giving you a lot of customer service, if you remember correctly.
I don't remember at all.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Well, listen,
Did I buy a watch from you? Many, actually, probably, right?
you bought a few, not many, but what do they say?
What's the difference between a few and many?
Do they say history is written by the victor or something? Is that the expression? So I think that's how it went. But Mike, so years later, you and I in Beverly Hills would always run into each other. We'd be walking down Rodeo Drive, and I didn't work for the other guy anymore. I worked for myself at this point, and we did some deals. No, like
We did.
yeah.
I bought some watches. Just a few, not many.
Yeah.
Beverly.
So you came into our very first office.
I remember.
on
upstairs.
Brighton.
Upstairs to meet Aldi.
Technically, that was our second office, but that was the first like real office.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun encounters, right? And that's where you met Fred.
Indeed, I did. And also, 20 years. Yeah.
20 years ago. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that showroom was all white carpet, white wall.
I remember going up in a funky elevator,
Yeah.
coming out into a narrow corridor with 1 million cameras on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember? That was very intimidating.
We're always all about the cameras. Yeah. So fast forwarding again. So you and Adam, you established your channel.
We did.
You started understanding that your market was the luxury market. Cars.
We already kind of established that that's what we wanted to hit. You know, like that's obviously where Michael has the biggest impact. Here's the fact that he, he's done very well for himself and he's aspirational and, has these luxury items. And so we always knew that that was the area we were going to play.
One of the things that when we first started, I said to Adam, who the hell's going to want to watch me? And he said, well, you've got an interesting lifestyle. You've got some very fun toys. People would like to see that. My immediate thought was, well, if I show all of this stuff, people will hate me because, I've got all this stuff.
Yeah, they think you're like just bragging.
Yes, and I said, no, you don't come across that way. And, we're showing it to share it and to be fun rather than, look what I got. And that was never the plan. It was more inspirational. Hey, I believe, and I still believe to this day, that anybody can have anything if they want it badly enough. And I try and say that in the videos and tell people that, hey, if you work hard, you focus on your goal, right?
Behind it.
There's no reason not to achieve it. And I believe in that. And we also want to please the audience. We want to give them so interesting.
All right. So what was the video that you guys came out with that really put you on the map? Was it the Peter Marco video? Was that the one that like you guys went viral? And
so that one, it started off pretty drab, right?
Yeah.
And it was drab for a couple of months.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it went from, 30,000 or 40,000 views to 100 to 200 to 1 million to 3 million. That's what's happening.
So,
Somebody threw fire on it.
all right. So something happened with the algorithm, obviously.
Dreaded algorithm.
Yeah, the dreaded algorithm. But something happened. And I think to this day, that video has got like, over 7 million views.
I don't know.
Yeah. And that was a basic video. No, it wasn't like, not the...
No. Just as an FYI, you have somewhere like 20 million views on the channel.
More.
Is it more?
Every morning he wakes up.
It's more. No, combined.
The reason the Producer Michael channel has done so well is because it's authentic.
Yeah.
It's real. I said to Adam, chop that out. It stays in. It always stays in.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you successful in the media space because it's authentic, right?
You're right. Real deal. You're right. It's somewhere in the low 20s. I'm so sorry. You're right. 100%. Somewhere in the low 20s.
I'm surprised you haven't got a calculator and actually added it up. Somebody watching, add it up and put it in the comments.
Well, my first producer, Michael video that I saw, not your first video, but the first one I stumbled across, what I thought was really cool is when you start speaking to Adam, your cameraman. I'm like, that's cool. That's different. And then I'm like, I got to meet Adam someday. Like, who's this Adam guy? So I think that created a lot of followers for you guys because I think Adam has like this phantom of the other fans out there too,
Well, the other thing is, it was never Adam the camera guy. It was producer Michael. It's Michael and Adam because it's a team. In fact, we did a video. It was about 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I filmed a Boeing business jet. Adam was in Arizona. He couldn't get to the shoot. We used a different cameraman, and although the camera work was fine, everything was great. People were saying it's not the same. It's not the same. Because
it was shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I always knew that people were like the channel for the banter, but when we saw the comments on that, the feedback, it was like, wow, okay, yeah, we never can do that again. But I think what people like, oh, he's shopping.
This is what you're talking about. The Elise Nardine. No.
Nice.
It's a dive.
Similar chronometer. Marine chronometer.
Marine chronometer with the power reserve.
Yeah. It's nice, right?
Nice.
It's all right.
Nice bang for the buck. You have a lot of fans. You have a ton of fans. You have a lot of people that literally love you to death. But they don't all know really like the true history of who you are in the entertainment world.
I've got myself into it.
Indeed.
So, hey, listen, if you're comfortable answering these questions, but let me just ask you a couple questions, all right? Michael.
Yes.
Listen, I got you here.
You tricked me.
This is my five minutes of fame, okay?
Okay.
So let me ask you a couple questions. So first of all, we understand that you were already wealthy and you were already
Where's he going?
successful in the entertainment world and you were able to afford these watches. Okay, so we know that. We've established that. You're a successful guy with the cars, the watches, the planes. Now, let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back into the 80s. Okay?
My memory's not that good.
So
Can we put a picture of his hair in the 80s?
So, all right. So, Michael, you are a musician at heart. Your core is you're a musician, right? You're a drummer, correct?
It was.
Well, you still are a drummer.
Oh, yes, because once a drummer, always.
Okay, so, but this is how you establish yourself into the entertainment world, no?
So I was a drummer. You want me to? So I spelled it out.
Yeah.
So I was a drummer. I became a session drummer. Played on a lot of quite well-known albums, and then I was intrigued by how music was made, the production of it.
Okay.
And one day, I was working with a band who was actually in Germany, and I had the opportunity because the producer didn't show up.
Okay.
I had a car crash.
All right.
Didn't show up. And here's me. I'm hired as a session drummer.
Sorry, approximately what year are we talking about? 84, 84, 85?
Yeah, 1812. So this would have been like 19...
Michael starts off as a net player.
1980. Okay.
81, somewhere around there.
I love this. All
Um,
right.
So I'm now in the studio with a very well-known German band, very well-known, probably the biggest band in Germany at the time.
Rammstein?
Close. Let's call it Rammstein. Okay. Google block. So I said, well, why don't I have a go, trying to put this track together while we wait for the producer to arrive? And yeah, why the hell not? And this was
Ride the desk.
Yeah. I knew how everything worked. I wasn't an engineer, but I knew what the faders did. So anyway, I produced this track. The producer never showed up, and we did the first track, which was about 6 hours of work. And we played it back. It sounded really, really good. We had a scratch track that the producer had done the day before, and the record label guys were there. They said, we prefer this one. So why don't you have a crack at the second one? And it just went from there. And all of a sudden, I had a number one record. And it was more trial and error than judgment. So I really had no idea what I was doing. And there was a lot of luck behind it because the record label promoted the heck out of this record. So now I have a number one record in Germany, and the phone starts to ring. I didn't have cell phones back then. No. It was just landline.
I think one's in a briefcase. Did you ever have one of those that...
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You needed someone to carry it on wheels.
Yeah.
But, so that's what put me in the production space, and went from there. And as I got more familiar with producing records, I then got more into the business side of the industry.
So you started off as a drummer, and then, like, by this fluke, you became more of a producer.
Yeah, I gave up the drums pretty quickly.
Okay. But you understand the beat, like the rhythm, like that's the core. Okay.
Well, you have to have a beat and a rhythm to create a track, right?
Exactly.
Melodies.
Exactly.
I was never good with lyrics, and I never wrote anything that was memorable.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's what happened, and then I got into the business side of things. I started a record label. It did well. It managed to be bought.
I'm sorry, but you were still in Europe at this time. You didn't come to Los Angeles yet.
So I've skipped a bit. I actually did. I came to the States because America, the United States, is the number one place for the music industry. There is no place like it. For example, a gold record in England is, I believe, 50,000 sales. A gold record in the United States is 500. Right, it's 1 million
times 10, exactly.
So yeah, it's a massive dynamic difference. So I did that, and then I came over here, started a record label. It did well. I had a couple of hits on it. I got acquired by a major label. I had a non-compete. They said I couldn't start another one for, I think it was 24 months at that time.
Sorry, so you got acquired. So somebody bought you, basically. You signed. Okay, can you say who you signed to?
A major.
A major. Okay.
And then I took a holiday for 2 years. I did, literally 2 years. Yeah, well, I mean, they paid me a ton of money.
Okay. Was this time when you were in Florida?
Yes.
Was this when you got the boat?
That was the second one.
Okay.
So
we're now we're in what year? 87, 88?
No, we're in the 2000s, early 2000s. No, we're not. We're in the 90s. 90s.
All right, so we skipped 10 years. Okay.
Well, I mean, this whole thing didn't happen overnight, so there was stuff.
People want to know. Like, we want to...
So my first record label was in the 90s, and it was in the States.
Okay.
It got acquired in the States after about 2.5, 3 years of working it. Then I had a 2-year vacation. Then I started another record label with a very similar name, and it did very well.
Well, can we say what the name of the second record label was?
What genre of music it is?
Pop.
Okay.
Basically pop. And then that record label got acquired by none other than the same company that acquired the first one.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
For a lot more money.
Okay.
And that's when I got the boat.
Okay.
So that's when I got it home.
whole bunch of releases by Rolex. Let me get your honest opinions about some of these watches. First off is the Sky Dweller on Jubilee.
It's gorgeous with that dial. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think that watch is a winner and long overdue. And I guarantee you won't be able to get it.
It's going to go for over retail. It's a dark gray, not really black, but it's a dark gray sort of.
It's beautiful.
And
I think it'll be probably 6 months before you actually see them out on the streets, right?
correct. So they came out with, I think, 3 different or 4 different versions of the Daytona with diamonds gem set. What do you guys think about this version with the Panda dial?
Personally, I'm not a fan. I don't think that. It looks like an owl. It's like, it does, right? It looks like an owl, and I don't think the diamonds on the Daytona really.
Is that a mother-of-pearl dial?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm guessing it is 44 millimeter deep sea. What do you guys think?
Heavy. That is going to be like a pound.
All
in
gold.
weight, right?
All yellow gold.
It's kind of the new version of like the AP brick, isn't it? It's the big gold
So the
vibes.
question is, who in the world is going to go diving to 1,000 feet? A solid gold. What?
You wouldn't need a weight.
You would not need a weight, but there it
You
is.
just get dragged down by your up. So you know who I could see wearing something like that?
Guido.
Somebody like Tyson Fury. You know the boxer?
Yeah.
6'8", like, loves gaudy stuff. The Gypsy King. That is a Tyson Fury watch all day long.
But not too many other people.
All right, next watch. This is the 40 millimeter rose gold President, a new dial.
Pretty.
I'm in.
Yeah, I like that one.
Love
Yeah, that is a pretty.
Is that like a
pretty watch.
starburst or whatever they call it?
It's like-
Where it's lighter in the middle, or am I just looking at a reflection?
No, I think it is. It's like a
Gradient.
Is it
It's very nice.
dark charcoal gray. Or
So they've done a lot of greys, haven't they? Because they've done the GMT with the two-tone bezel, right? The grey. They've done this one, the one that we just saw, the Sky Dweller.
yeah, we think this is going to be a winner. Also, we were talking about it earlier before you got here. The GMT. This is beautiful.
Oh, it does have the green GMT hand, yeah.
Yes, it is. It does.
So that's a very interesting combination. I think it's pretty. I think in person it will look even better, and that will sell for 15 grand over sticker. What do you think?
15,000 over sticker.
I think so. So if you think of a Warren,
You think this is going to bring 27,000?
think of a Pepsi right now. A Pepsi is what, $12,000, and they're selling for 30.
Oh no!
I think you're right, Mike. And I kind of mentioned that earlier before, because this particular watch, the previous version of this watch with the full black bezel green hand, was a sleeper. This was like the one GMT no one cared about. But now that it's back and it has a little bit more personality on the bezel, I agree with you, Mike. I think this is going to be a $30,000 watch in a second.
I think so too.
All right. Well, if I can beg to differ, I think this is going to be on par with the current Pepsi, which is around $23,000, and the retail price is like around 11 or 12, meaning 12,000 over sticker. Not you're saying.
Well, let's see.
All right. The Cellini.
Not a fan.
What's the reference?
61908.
1909.
1908.
1908.
A really popular model right now in yellow gold.
Personally, not my favorite. What do you guys think?
I don't like it.
Is that a current Rolex? Like, I know this is a new one, but is there that Rolex that existed in 2020?
Cellini, right?
They're making it in like yellow gold and I think rose gold right now.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is the new Le Mans. I'm sure you guys know about the white gold Le Mans. This is the yellow gold.
Well, it sells for like $500,000 or something ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah.
Who knows why?
That's cool. I like that.
It's not $500,000 now.
I like it too. I feel like this watch is a winner.
$68,000 list. $500,000 they sell for.
No, less than $500,000.
No diamonds on it.
Are they less than $500,000?
But you're right. It's way over retail price.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, the whole Le Mans movie, that's kind of where the Steve McQueen comes in. So I'm pretty sure that's why they came up with that contrast. I'll give it that 6.265 limit.
Let's see if you're back.
Rolex are very clever. You've got to give them full kudos. I mean, they know how to market watches.
I think for some reason, I think this is gonna be like a $250,000 watch, and it's probably gonna retail for around 60, maybe 50. It's gonna be a $250,000 fast one. You like it, Mike? You like this watch, Mike?
I don't like it that much.
Mike, add this to your collection. I'm saying,
Yes.
you have connections. Get this watch. Buy this watch. I think it's an awesome watch for your collection.
Maybe I'll take you up on that.
Okay.
Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Oh man, this is honestly, I'm honored that you would participate in this podcast. This is our first podcast. There wasn't anybody who I would have rather had than you and Adam to be in our first podcast. Honestly, from all my heart, on behalf of my co-hosts, thank you for appearing. Seriously, Michael.
Been a lot of fun.
Thank you. And seriously, I love you guys. I love you. Thank you so much.
Honored to be the first guest.
Yeah.
And maybe after I see the edit, maybe we'll come back.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
See you.
Michael, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Good to see you, man.
And we'll see everybody on the next podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in.
EW Podcast. I hope you know we talking about a watch.